I'm Joe, and this is Sierra Specialty Auto. Welcome back to the shop. I have an old imported 16-inch wood cutting bandsaw. I began a conversion to metal cutting on this saw several months ago before I started filming projects for my channel. So I don't have any record of it. I had to stop short on the project, ran out of time, and have issues with the belt drive. Same sort of issues that Mr. Pete, Lyle Peterson, had when he attempted a similar conversion on his 14-inch Delta bandsaw. Same problems, and I think probably the same solution. I've got a 2-inch pulley in the belt drive train on this bandsaw, and I need to get that out. So let's roll this bandsaw over to the workbench and take a look at the issue and get to work fixing it. Here's my gear motor conversion. This is a 1/2 horsepower 1800 RPM motor, 69 RPM out of the gear shaft. I had calculated 70, timing it with my watch. I got pretty close. The gear motor is mounted in the same manner as the original motor. There's a pivot down here just to pin through some bosses, round bosses, welded to the table and to a bracket that the motor's mounted to. And this is the original tension lock. I was in a big hurry when I was trying to finish this. I knew at the time I should take this intermediate pulley system off, but I can't remember now why I was in a big hurry, but I didn't have time to do it right, but now I have time to do it over. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit so I can get in here and work without getting in front. We'll probably be fast forwarding some of this. I'm going to loosen the belts. I'm going to take off this intermediate pulley setup, which is just bolted on. There's a pivot bolt at the bottom and an adjuster bolt with a slot in a track here. Take this off and try a belt between the large step on the motor pulley and this pulley on the bandsaw. Right now I've got about 130 some RPM on the, 130 some feet per minute on the belt, the bandsaw blade, and I would like to have a little more than that. This step pulley is driven on a larger pulley and driving on a smaller pulley, so eliminating that should increase the ratio, or actually I should probably say decrease the ratio a little bit to make this speed closer to this speed. So I should speed it up. I'm guessing something like 25 or 30%. We'll see how that works. And if I don't get an appropriate speed, then I'll need to change probably the motor pulley. And this should give me better driving into the bandsaw blade. It's easy right now to stop the blade, and this belt slips on the small sheave here. Same kind of problems that Mr. Pete, Lyle Peterson, Tubal King, had in his recent series of videos where he was trying different conversions for lower speed. If you've got a small driving pulley in this setup somewhere, it will slip, because this is being asked to do a lot more work than you can drive through a 2-inch pulley. So let's shut the camera down, reset, and get started taking this apart and putting it back together with a different pulley configuration. That looks pretty good. I'm going to cinch that down. Get all this extra hardware out of the way. I'm not going to set up the tensioner yet, although I see I'm very fortunate. All it'll take is a nut and a bolt in there to tighten it back up again. Everything still lines up. This pulley I was able to move it in enough to line up this larger sheave with the band pulley. So let's go see how this works. I do not have one of Mr. Pete's fancy speed calculators, feet per minute calculators. I looked at them on eBay. They're pretty expensive. I think for my purposes I'll get by with what I just did, which is to put a mark on the band wheel and time it for 60 seconds. I got 45 revolutions per minute with this new setup, which calculates out on a 16-inch band wheel. Pi times the diameter times 45 is about 188 feet per minute, which I think is probably pretty good. It's a much better figure than I had in terms of speed. So now it's time to see how this will cut. Let's do this a little more safely and get a pusher block. That was 1/2 inch thick aluminum. I think that went fairly well. Let me get a piece of steel, see how that works. Here's a crusty piece of about roughly 1/8 inch by 1.5 angle iron. We'll see how this does. That's much better. That's what I expect out of this tool. I'm happy with that. I'm going to call this done. I've already put my locking bolt, tension adjusting bolt back in, so it's finished. I can push this back into its corner, and well, actually I'm not quite finished. I do have one more thing I need to do. When I bought this for probably $25 at a yard sale, it did not have blade guards. It has this guard on the back of the band blade, and two of the knobs that originally held the other guards on, but I do not have the guards for the top and the bottom, and I am a little uncomfortable using this on a regular basis without those guards. So I'm going to see if I can maybe find some on eBay from somebody who's parting out a saw, or if I can't do that, I'll make covers, guards to make this a little safer to use. Other than that, I'm real happy with the way this performs for what was no doubt a cheap imported tool. uh, with the motor speed conversion. It does exactly what I want it to do for metal cutting. So I'm pretty happy. That worked out pretty well. I got lucky being able to move that pulley over, and also got lucky having a belt in my inventory, not nearly as large as Mr. Pete's inventory, but still I have quite a few, and I was able to find one that fit well. Now I can use that saw without having to baby it through the cuts. I can just put it right to work and bear down on it, and it pulls good. Today is the 9th of January 2019. Yesterday I had an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon, and I have another appointment with him on the 28th of this month to get rotator cuff surgery. My left shoulder is torn up pretty badly, and I am left-handed, so that's going to be an issue. I'll be in a sling for 6 weeks or so, and probably on limited duty after that. I've already got some stuff in the can, and we'll be working on more in the next 2.5 weeks in hopes of being able to continue to put out some content every week or week and a half. I hope you'll keep checking back to see what I've put up. I also have a couple of ideas for projects I can do, one-armed, with the help of my lovely wife, who's always a very willing partner in this stuff. I can edit fine right-handed. That works well for me. So I'll be able to keep working on material that I've already got recorded, and we'll see how this works out. In the meantime, I hope you'll comment, I hope you'll subscribe, I hope you'll come back and visit the shop again, and I thank you for watching. This is the Mills Peak Fire Lookout, elevation 7,342 feet, near Gray Eagle in Northern California. This is in the Plumas National Forest in the Lakes Basin Recreation Area. This is the trailhead of a really great mountain bike ride. We shuttled to the top and then rode about 9 miles, about a 3,000-foot descent on a really great single track. Wonderful ride.